keep saying we have 4-5 years, even with all this, is we have AI coming in, okay, where you're going to be almost making cinema. Cinema is a process where people look at a screen and they look like this. They have to be in awe. That's cinema. You don't look down on cinema. You know, we look down at a phone like this. Okay, we look up at cinema. Cinema has to have that awe-inspiring things. But when people know, today we're all kind of, fooling ourselves, saying that AI is going to be a tool. Will filmmakers be able to adapt to this tool? Filmmakers will have no time to adapt to this tool. This tool will adapt to figuring out how to kind of use human beings. Because most of the things that we're doing in cinema can be very easily done. In fact, it can be easily done even today, and it's not being out in the public domain simply because it's being regulated. People are scared, and the slowness of the output, the slowness of the the release of the technology is what's stopping you. So tomorrow, if you're going to see, you say wow to Bahubali today. What effort, 3-4 years. But the public knows, public's going to figure out, oh, this can all be done in AI. And as AI becomes more and more, these kind of films will become like, everyday affairs. They're very easy to do. The awe of that stuff will go in 5 days. It's the same awe when we had a cell phone the first time, and today we just take it we don't even look at it. I mean, we look at it so often that we forget it is. It's something great. So we take it for granted. Those kind of movies will be taken for granted. It's coming. Really, 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 really soon it's coming. So we are in this thing where I really believe, I really hope and wish something miraculous happens to an industry that actually knows the facts, that knows what is coming and chooses to not analyze and be prepared for it. It's one of those, like, if you see this Bill Gates document, the Bill Gates series on Netflix, I mean, there's James Cameron and Bill Gates talking. Bill Gates is scared. If Bill Gates is scared, I mean, we must be stupid not to be scared. What are we going to do? How are we going to make cinema? They don't need us to make cinema anymore. People say writers can't be replaced, poets can't be replaced. Wait, it's just the next. It's just the next evolution. It's coming. It's all coming. It's you can just escape. So I'm just saying that yes, there may be some things which sometimes today what you say when you go to a sari shop and say this is a handmade sari and this is a premium for it. You tend to say, oh, something special. Most saris were handmade always before, then it became mechanized. Forget that, it's handmade. And there's a sari which is machine made. And tomorrow we may have to categorize cinema like that, man-made cinema, machine-made cinema. We may have regulations with AI cinema, man-made cinema, nothing's man. We'll have to have all kinds of things like that. But can we, in the process, in the meanwhile, kind of really figure out, see, we're all swimming in the dark and saying, let's make the film, hope Netflix greenlights it, hope Amazon greenlights it, hope somebody buys it, some producer comes out there, hope it gets a theatrical release. We are on that desperation. But we forget that I think sometimes today, even as filmmakers, we need to stop and say, cinema is no longer a right. You don't have the right to make cinema regardless of what you have to say. I think we all really, one of the duties of filmmakers, first of all, is to figure out whether that story really deserves to be made into cinema. Is it going to really fight the distraction? Is it going to be more exciting than every reel that people see? Is it going to be more entertaining? Is it going to be more evocative? It's going to be showing you some emotion or tap into some part of you as a human that has not been tapped into something else there. It can't be generalized saying I'm doing a feel-good film. It can't be generalized as saying that I'm doing a very deep social angst film. You can't do those kind of things because it's money. Finally, it's business. Finally, somebody's got to put money into you. Otherwise, nobody's going to, be able to make film. Filmmaking is very, very expensive. So therefore, there is a responsibility of filmmakers also to be aware of the situation out here, what is going on in the market, truly figure out how to attack it. This marketing myth is another thing that's a disease created by the industry. By the industry that's not even aware that its product is dying, which is cinema. So it's just propagating that myth. So there's a lot of things that industry bodies and things we'll have to address to kind of see how we can safeguard our livelihood as much as we can. Our livelihood means our dream, our magic, as long as we can. Forget livelihood. It's the dream, it's a hope, it's our purpose for life. And that shatters tomorrow. By God, I think you'll need one therapist for every 2 people in this country. You need so many therapists. It's not going to be easy. So it is a tough time. It's coming. We are living in La La Land. We are just appreciating all kinds of cinema, doing that. It's lovely to be that way. At the same time, also be aware of really how we're destroying ourselves. For example, I always tell stars, I tell a lot of stars who are actually so paranoid today about the kind of scripts that's going to reach the maximum number of people. I said, what are the kind of scripts that are going to reach the maximum number of people? How do you know? How do you know what reaches anybody? How do you know everybody will like? It's almost like you remove anything that's contrarian, you remove everything that's kind of very interesting or something, and make up the sound level, decibel level so much that you don't know anything, but you just come and have a party in the theater and kind of go. It's not cinema, it's a party place. You go there. So stars are in that zone of saying, oh, don't give me these hatke, these kind of intellectual. They won't use the word intellectual because that's a bad word these days. It's also, don't give me those meaningful films. Just hide the meaning so that nobody sees the meaning. How do you hide the meaning so that nobody sees the meaning? That's part of the craft that you kind of are doing. So the kind of sterile. So the 70s had better. Manmohan Desai made the same stuff with so much pizzazz and so much entertainment. Okay, we're not able to even write that today. We're not able to make an film. Of course, you don't have to be that long. You can be much shorter. We can cut out a lot of crap. But look at the kind of suspension of disbelief that we all lived with and enjoyed it. Where are the actors who are doing that? When we talk to actors, it's all about just safeguarding it. I always tell them, just imagine you come in. When you come in, means half the country is going to come in to watch your film. So in that process, even if you do, I don't want you to do a Satyajit Ray film ever. I'm not going to say because they all believe Satyajit Ray is a great filmmaker, but they are in a very different world from the Rays of the world, because that's very artistic and that's very beautiful, and Ray is just emotion. We can't discuss that with them. You just have to say, okay, I understand, we're not going to make meaningful cinema, but just do that. I said, why don't you try your hand? You come and do this stuff. Suddenly the audience's taste of cinema is changing because you're introducing it to them. They're watching it anyway. I'm not saying be so, lateral that nobody gets it. Common, simple things with little upgradation. Not the same, we create a spaceship and think our film is equal to kind of Hollywood. We create one action sequence borrowed from some 17 films and think we've kind of mastered action. We do some VFX which is there and say we are kind of, on par with this. This is so stupid to do that, because people are watching everything today. And there are chances that the icons of our industry have to kind of pull people into theaters with little more, things that have not been seen before in the form that has been seen before. If form is what you're scared of, don't change the form. Change the meat in the form. You can do little things out there. So I'm saying we're not even doing that. Sometimes we're actually, I was talking to a very big actor the other day, and it was very sad talk about how we've regressed in times. 20 years back, 30 years back, we used to kind of make such films. There was a Lagan, there was a Satya, there was a this thing, Rangila. This is Dilwale, there's a Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Romance, where is romance in our cinema? Forget, I'm not even talking of addressing any social issue in cinema. I don't even want to get there. I'm just talking of simple things that used to make our heart go duck, duck, duck. Our kind of, our testosterone kind, come on, bash them up, come on, have a good laugh in the theater. Very rare in this. It's all the magic of cinema. And we were, pontificating it, talking of all that stuff. And then we were coming to the film, coming to discuss the film. So, what is the conflict point between the villain and the hero? So what conflict point? What's the story first? Let's talk about. No, there's a hero, there's a villain, okay, there's a conflict point, there's a resolution. The templates are very clear. The thought process is one thing, the wish list is one thing, and they have learned from the success of bad films to be a certain bad way. It's very funny. That's why I keep saying the success of the big films today, unlike the success of the big films in the past. Today, Sholay is a classic. Today, we are still kind of discussing Sholay, talking about Sholay. Amar Akbar Anthony celebrated. Diwar is a cult kind of classic. They were the blockbusters of before, right? We're all kind of overjoyed with that kind of thing. Today, what are the successes? Just look at I don't even want to mention because of the Ray lecture, the kind of films that there are, which is there. Would you even discuss it? Would you even have a discussion of it? You know, I would feel very, very sad if we did have a discussion, very depressing discussion on that. So I was just feeling that in my thing of, it feels nice, every ill person feels well when you see a more terminally ill patient on the bed. So I go to the hospital with a cough, okay, and I see a patient who's on the 4th stage. He or she is going to pass away. He's got 5 weeks to live or 10 weeks to live. Suddenly the cough goes. And I feel already well. And that's how I feel looking at cinema. And I feel, no. I don't have to worry about my health. I don't give a damn. I'm not going to give up smoking. I mean, forget it. Yeah, I'd like to die before cinema. I don't want to live without smoking. I don't want to look after my lungs. I don't want to kind of look after this stuff. What am I going to do? Not smoking. Look at the wall. Nothing. So thoughts like this in all creative people and all the industry, what's going on, it's there. I'm saying you just touch people, it's waiting to blow. And I really feel as bodies, as people, if we can contribute to things and if we can find ways to kind of push our films in ways that have not been seen before, because this kind of money, a lot of filmmakers will not be able to afford to even make people hear about their film. The other day I saw a film by Sonali Bose. It was a documentary. I didn't even know it was a documentary. I had gone to the theatre. It's called Fly on the Wall. I want you to watch it because she's struggling today to get people to hear about her film. Forget the fact. And don't ever be mistaken that if it goes to a festival, it's a good film. Or if some damn award it gets, it's a good film. No, it's not. A lot of festival people are in the same racket as the commercial, this is as the commercial magnates of the world. It's damn tough. The kind of crap that goes into a festival. Sometimes I go to Toronto today, I go to other places today, if I go to Venice today, they'll be talking about that one film out there. You just watch as a viewer. If you're saying, I want to, have this holiday in a film festival, you'll come out really, really depressed because a lot of crap is going on. How they select those films, I don't know. So here is this film called Fly on the Wall. This is about a person who, Sonali Bose is a filmmaker, and she had a friend called Chika, who was a kind of a very famous electrical engineer in the US. He has lit up ships and things like that. He left all that stuff, went to do deep sea diving somewhere in Bali, whatever, and he was absolutely kind of a but a purposeless man who tried his hand at stand-up comedy too and failed miserably. He wanted to be a performer, he failed miserably. One day he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He had about 4 months to live, and it was one of those things of the thyroid something. It was one of those cancers which has absolutely found no cure. And he had this thought. He went to Switzerland and signed up in that thing called, what's that called? The place, no. It's an institute. It's an institute which you can sign in, and they'll give you a little liquid, depending on your condition, whatever, and you can swallow it. In 3 minutes you go to sleep and you're dead. So it's an institute. You can just sign into that stuff, depending on your condition, along with your doctors. So he decided to go there. And the film is all about, that's all in the first 3 minutes. The film is all about, he asked his friend Sonali to film his death and his last 14 days. So she's with a camera, her very good friend, battling her emotions as a filmmaker, forced to film this guy's death. And what a film. It's like a riveting thriller. It's the first time in my life I bought a popcorn. I didn't know what the film was about, so I bought popcorn. I went to the theatre and I started eating it. 10 minutes I stopped, and I must have popped 1 or 2. By the end of the film, it's the first time ever that my popcorn tub was almost full, and I just left it there, and I got up and I hugged Sonali, because it's a film it is riveting. It's like a thriller, because you've bought into the fact that Okay, lovely, emotion is fine. You got your best friend to kind of come and film your death. What if he has a change of heart? He also says that I may have a change of heart. And you're allowed to. Most people, 80% of people who sign in that stuff don't finally take that liquid. So you as a viewer are saying, hey, don't chicken out, don't chicken out now. I want to see you die. I want to see. And there is the filmmaker, there is the family, whoever is outside the camera. And I am the audience and I'm saying, hey, Chika, don't not die, please. See, look at the power of cinema. It's magic. Forget all social other things. It's magic of cinema. And this dying man understood it. So what he did, it's almost like you take it to the climax and say, no, I'm not doing this today. I'll do it after 14 days. Everybody's very frustrated, you think. He took 14 days to mug up a poem by Robert Frost. He took 14 days to mug up a poem, and he finally decided the day, and he had that liquid. I mean, you have first a liquid which makes sure you don't puke, and you just wait for half an hour, and then you have the other liquid, down in 3 days. Down in 3 minutes, you're asleep. In that last 20 minutes, he sits on the sofa after having the first liquid, and he narrates this whole Robert Frost poem. And he finally performed his life's ambition that he could not do throughout his life. He was a failed performer. He tried his hand at comedy, he tried his hand at anything else. And just before death, he actually performed. And he died. And I clapped. So like many people in our world, we all say we'll give our life for cinema. He actually gave his life to perform. He actually gave his life for great cinema. I have never seen anything like that. I would advise all of you to kind of just watch that, to kind of just feel what it is that we need to kind of do for cinema today. Other than watching it, I think we all need to kind of figure out there is a conscience, like equal to climate control. I believe the problem is as much as that. The world is dying. The weather is changing. Cinema is dying. We have to change it. The two weathers, the two climates out there. And I think we in the world, we here, we can kind of switch off the taps. We can do less plastic. We can do those little contributions to the world. But I think we have a much bigger contribution towards cinema than, towards sustaining cinema than what we've thought we've had so far. Thank you. Now I'd like to chat.
Thank you, Balki. You have kind of left us speechless with whatever you have said. You have made cinema out to be kind of terminally ill, and we're all waiting for the death to come, so to speak.
No, I'm searching for a vaccine.
Yeah, that was my question. That was my question, that what would be your suggestion of a vaccine? And you said there's a lot of garbage down there. So what would be your suggestion for the waste disposal of all this garbage to get your products back?
If I knew it, I'd be, you'll have my memorial lecture soon. But I don't know it. But the issue is very simple.
That contradicts your theme today.
No, I'll tell you what it is. It's a struggle, and I'll tell you what I thought about in the thing. I think there are two problems that we have. A lot of our beautiful films are not being watched, and a lot of garbage is being watched. I think both those things we'll have to kind of address at the same time. And I just believe it is about, I'll give a small example. And this really happened. I'll give you a small example. There was a rule, I don't know when it was about 10 years ago, I think 10 years ago, when the marketing monies were exploding everywhere. I think it was the Tamil Nadu, I think it was the Tamil industry, I don't know which, one of the industries, I think it was Tamil. They actually put out a rule when social media promotions were not this big. They actually fixed a budget saying whoever the star, whatever your budget of the film, you cannot spend more than this to get a level playing field with people. One of those things, it's just little things that you do where you actually don't tilt the favor don't tilt the balance in favor of the bad with money power, which the good may not sometimes be able to fight with. Sometimes you need regulations. Also, I think one of the biggest kind of thing which we really need to do is first reduce the cost of cinema. It's ridiculous what's going on. When it is 99 bucks, I mean, you see the people even coming to willing to come and sample any trash versus 350 bucks or 250 bucks. I really think the chains are being our theaters are being very silly, because the moment they open it at 99 and folks will be happy. Reduce the angst a little bit in people. Increase the love for cinema. Sometimes love has to come by saying discount, yeah, come. You know, if nobody is eating